Good day and welcome to Motivated by Jared Berger. This is the start of something great and it's the first reality talk show that we're having. I'm your host for today and today we have with us Matthew Palmer. Matt, thank you so much for coming forward today.
Thanks for having me, Jared.
Only a pleasure. So, I just wanted to ask you, what are one of the very many highlights that you had in school that we know about?
JB, I think there are too many highlights to mention. For me, just going to school was a highlight. So I think hanging out with my buddies every day and getting to play a lot of different sports.
Just creating that brotherhood as well, growing up with the same friends, I think was a huge thing for me. Growing up, also being at Swam with all the brothers. And I know for myself, initially, if I think of one of the throwbacks of one of my craziest highlights, I was in grade 3 in Mrs. Abdo's class and I thought I wanted to be a fireman, and I was in the passages one day and I saw the fire extinguisher and then I thought, so I decided I'm going to spray everyone with it. And then when we were all sitting in class, I thought Miss Abdo walks in and she was like, who sprayed the fire extinguisher? And I thought, there's no ways my brothers are going to launch me. There's no ways I'm going to get in trouble. Miss Abdo, she'll never find out. And because she was strict and we all had great respect for her, it was a crazy thing because when she asked that question, everyone pointed their finger at me. So that was one of the...
So your brothers had your back, eh?
Yeah, so they said, yes. So the reason why we are here today is because we are talking about the importance of having a role model. And I know for myself, if you had to ask me what are some of the qualities that make a good role model or how important is it, the reason why I asked you to help me with this one is because I know that you've been one of the biggest mentors in my life, or role models, whichever word we choose to use, and I don't even think you realize this, but just growing up as a swimmer and you being there for me on the days where I thought to myself, and I'm sure you can remember, I used to phone you, Matt, I don't believe in myself, I'm doubting myself, and you helped me in many stages of my life get through personal development issues, and I don't even think you realize that that's how important it is to be a role model, because you have played more of a fatherly role in my life than my own father, not knowing my father, and that's just one of the things for you to be like, that's beautiful, and I don't think many people out there realize that they are in leadership roles. So I just want to thank you for that, because I don't know if you ever realized that.
To be honest, no, I didn't. But thank you for that. It makes me feel really good. I think it's really important. I think one thing that I did realize from quite a young age and from the moment I started coaching is that I was a role model for a lot of kids and children that I was working with, and not just kids, but teenagers,
right,
like you at the time. So I think it's important that if you're in a leadership role, it's important to recognize that there is a lot of responsibility that comes with that, and that you are a role model, and are you going to be a good one or are you going to be a bad one? So
right. And I think on that note, it's very important for us to realize that when you are in a leadership role, there's lots of responsibilities. Sometimes also because I know you and I, we're both professional swimming coaches, and we have a new challenge every day working with children. And the important thing about that is when you go to bed at night, what type of role model are you? What type of leader are you? Because we're having an influence on so many people's lives. And I think sometimes it can be a lot of weight on one's shoulders. What do you think?
100%. But I think, with regards to that, I think something that I try and do is make sure that at least most days I'm having fun doing what I'm doing. And I think that shows with the kids, and they feed off that. So, there's a lot of, I know you're a little bit stricter than myself when it comes to coaching, and I think, being strict is really important, having rules in place, rules, regulations, whether it's
right
for your country or for a swim school or whatever it is, it's important, but we've all got our own styles of leadership and being a role model, and I'm just using that as an example, but from me, I like to be a little bit more laid back. There's expectations, there's levels of performance that I expect on a day-to-day basis from my swimmers.
For sure, 100%.
but at the same time, maybe I will let some stuff slide where I know you don't. So you know,
you can't. So you can, but you can't. You know how it is. And from an emotional perspective, how do you think in terms of what we need to do as leaders in the industry where we're working with people? What do you think that we need to do as role models in terms of our own personal self-development, mental training, making sure that we're in control of our emotions and getting deep in on that level?
Look, I think it's important, and I think when you are, you know, sort of the leader, whether you're CEO of a company or whatever it is, a teacher, a water polo coach, whatever, a rugby coach, it's important that you take care of yourself. So, you know, you talk about self-development, looking after your mental health. You know, I think it's very important that you have a balance. You know, social life with your friends, spending time with your family, and in general, you know, my dad always taught me, and you know, that's where having a good role model is good. You know, without sounding selfish, my dad always said that you know, you need to look after yourself before you can help others, and that's something that I've taken to heart, and I stay true to. I make sure that
That's so beautiful.
that I'm generally in a good spot, that I can look after everybody else.
And can you give the viewers out there a little tip as to the training that you do to try and make sure that you constantly in a positive state of mind? Because I know so often if we don't know how to control our emotions, there's so many a time where people have regretted something that they've said or done out of anger in a short moment, and then afterwards they think, well, what if I controlled myself? They could have changed the whole situation completely.
100%. Yeah, look, I think in general I was pretty lucky. I think swimming taught me that, to control my emotions. But obviously later on in life, and maybe not necessarily exercising as often as I'd like, I've brought other things in, and that's where self-development's come in. But recently I've taken up the likes of meditation.
Beautiful. I've had a bit of experience in that as well.
You know, so I start my day with some meditation and end my day with meditation, and that's really made a huge difference for me, and like you say, controlling your emotions.
Yes.
And then obviously the likes of you know, gym and exercise and running, and a big therapy for me is going and riding my motorbike in the bush with some mates. So
that's so awesome.
I think it's important.
Yeah, and the crazy thing about that is, you know, where you're looking at it from that perspective and you're talking about meditation and a couple of breathing exercises. You know, I think one of the craziest things in the world today is we need to master our emotions. And I think the meditation and the exercise and the healthy eating, they all play a contributing factor to your mental, physical state of mind, and that's a beautiful thing to be part of, you know?
It is.
Actually, first I want to send my sympathies out to everyone that's lost families and friends. We know that 2020 was a very tough year for everyone, and my sympathy goes out to all of those. But the reason why I also am so passionate about what I'm doing and why I'm doing what I'm doing with this vision behind Motivated by Jared Berger is because I'm not blinded by the fact that there's a lot going on around us that isn't always positive and happy. And I think one of the craziest things in society these days is we don't think about what we need to do to train our state of mind. And the beautiful part about happiness is it can actually also be a decision. There's always external factors that contribute to that, and there's a lot of negative things that we need to learn to block out along the way. But for me, I think it's crucial to know that at a time of the world that we're in now, it's people like you and I that are creating a vision where we're trying to change the way we think, which changes the way we feel, which changes the way we do things. And so I just want to say to you, thank you so much for the time today. I really appreciate it, and I think this is something that's started a huge journey for myself and for you and a lot of people out there, because the vision is a selfless thing. I know there's a lot of people out there where you think that you're alone in this big bad world, and the truth is you're not. And it's important to work with people like us where we can start teaching you along the way that there are green flags, there is beautiful things to look at, whether it's driving in a motor car or going for a walk with the dog. There's beauty in the world that we live in. So for the viewers out there, if you want to send me a personal message, if you're needing help or assistance in any way, if I can't help you, there will be many people that I know will be able to help you. So don't ever be afraid to feel like you're alone. Reach out to me, and if I can't help you, there's other people that can. And I want to thank you as well for being part of this journey with me. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, Jared, for having me. And I just, on that note, just want to say congratulations on this. I think what you're doing is very bold and very brave. I think there are a lot of people out there that would like to do something like this but don't have the courage to do it. I think the reason you're wanting to do this is a fantastic reason. Don't lose sight of that, and just stay on your path, stay on your mission. And if you make one positive change in one person's life today or tomorrow
or at any stage,
then
it's been a good.
You're winning.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. For all the viewers out there, I just want to let you guys know there's a lot of exciting things ahead. Next week we're going to be covering a crazy story that the whole world needs to hear about, with Josh Doman being in China for 6 months. And when he was in China, stuck there in a jail cell, we were the voice for him. And now next week Saturday, we're going to let him be his own voice. So I want you guys to stay tuned, and there's going to be a smashing story for everyone to hear next week Saturday. Just finally, thank you so much, Matt, for your time. I really appreciate it.
Pleasure, Jared.
And have an awesome day.
Thank you.
To you guys out there, have a beautiful weekend and love you lots. I would just like to take a quick moment to thank PC Max for their sponsorship in helping make my audio for my videos more professional. If anyone out there is looking for laptop chargers or repairs or anything to do with gaming and PC, then PC Max is the shop to use. So thanks once again.